That day, the sacred city of Mecca was filled with a special sense of peace and divine calm. The season of Hajj had just ended, the rites had been completed, and the sacred Kaaba stood surrounded by pilgrims who were slowly preparing to return to their homes. The streets of Mecca were alive with the movement of travelers, the sounds of farewells, and the soft murmur of prayers. Merchants were busy in their markets, yet the fragrance of the haram and the memory of worship still lingered in the air. Among the noble families of Quraysh, the most honored was the clan of Banu Hashim, led by their chief, Abdul Muttalib. On this day, he was not merely a leader attending to worldly matters. He carried a purpose in his heart that was both worldly and divinely destined. He walked alongside his young son, Abdullah, a youth of exceptional beauty, dignity, and purity, whose face was radiant like the full moon, whose manners were refined, and whose character was spotless. People of Mecca would often say, "No young man is as handsome and noble as Abdullah." But Abdul Muttalib was not seeking admiration. He was seeking a bride for his son, a bride of pure lineage, high morality, and noble faith. His heart had already chosen the perfect match, Amina bint Wahb, the daughter of Wahb ibn Manaf, chief of the clan of Banu Zuhra. Wahb was a man respected by all of Mecca for his wisdom, honor, and leadership. His daughter, Amina, was known throughout Quraysh for her modesty, her impeccable character, and her beauty that was matched only by her piety. She had been raised in the traditions of the faith of Ibrahim a.s., growing up in the spiritual atmosphere of Mecca, surrounded by the sanctity of the Kaaba. Women of Quraysh would speak of her saying, "Amina is the pride of her family." With Abdullah by his side, Abdul Muttalib made his way towards the dwelling of Wahb. The path led through different quarters of the city and past the resting places of various tribes. Everywhere they passed, people rose in respect and greeted Abdul Muttalib warmly, for his name was a symbol of honor in Mecca. When they reached the area of Banu Zuhra, they came upon Wahb's house, a place shaded by date palms and perfumed with the scent of the earth. Abdul Muttalib knocked upon the door, and a servant appeared, greeting him respectfully before hurrying inside to inform the chief. Wahb emerged quickly, his face bright with welcome, and embraced Abdul Muttalib. After the greetings, they sat together in the courtyard. Water was served, and polite conversation passed between them. Then Abdul Muttalib spoke with a voice full of dignity. "O Wahb, I have come with a message of joy. I wish to ask for your daughter Amina's hand in marriage for my son Abdullah." Wahb smiled warmly, but did not answer immediately. Instead he said, "O chief of Mecca, this is indeed an honor, but I do not make decisions regarding my daughter in haste. I will consult with the elders of my tribe, and then give you my reply." Abdul Muttalib nodded in agreement. "That is your right, and I shall wait." The following day, Wahb gathered the elders of Banu Zuhra and placed the proposal before them. Their answer was unanimous. "This is a marriage of great blessing. The Banu Hashim are the noblest of Quraysh, and Abdul Muttalib's household is a source of honor and respect." Wahb returned the message to Abdul Muttalib, saying, "We accept this proposal." At this, Abdul Muttalib's face lit up with joy. The news spread across Mecca that Abdullah would marry Amina, and the city was filled with happiness. Preparations began in both households. The women busied themselves with garments and ornaments, while the men invited relatives and friends. Animals were prepared for the wedding feast, and arrangements were made for a celebration befitting the nobility of the two families. On the day of the wedding, the chiefs of Quraysh, merchants, leaders, and friends gathered in large numbers. Abdullah stood with grace and dignity, his eyes shining with happiness. Amina, adorned yet modest, was brought to her new home, her face glowing with the light of modesty. The women of Quraysh surrounded her, offering blessings and speaking of her beauty and noble character. Together, Abdullah and Amina appeared as if they were the most beautiful couple in the history of Mecca. The nikah was conducted with dignity and simplicity. The words of acceptance echoed, the sermon was delivered, and the marriage was sealed. Voices of congratulations filled the air. Abd al-Muttalib, in his joy, arranged a grand feast for all Quraysh. People ate and celebrated together, and for days after, the blessed union was the talk of the city. Yet no one knew that this was no ordinary marriage. It was the union destined to bring forth the greatest of all creation, the seal of the prophets, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah had chosen Abdullah and Amina to be the parents of His beloved. This marriage was not just the joining of two noble houses. It was the beginning of a light that would erase the darkness of the world, guide humanity until the last day, and fill hearts with faith and love. O listener, this is not just a page from history. It is a moment that refreshes faith, reminding us that Allah's plans are perfect, His choices are exalted, and His wisdom is beyond our imagination. The blessed memory of Abdullah and Amina's pure life continues to shine in the hearts of believers, a flame of love and devotion that will burn until the end of time. Dear viewers, if you found this story inspiring and full of faith, then subscribe to the channel so you may continue to hear more such spiritual and heart-touching stories.